After the retirement of Marv Levy in 1997, the network passed the torch on to Levy's replacement, Wade Phillips.
The Bill Polian Show, the Marv Levy Show, and the Wade Phillips Show were all shows done under the auspices of Bacher Productions. So Dick Bacher, after Marv had retired, approached Wade, and Wade agreed to do a show. Also wanted to do a show out at the stadium. And that one we moved over to the field house.
Wade was the kind of guy that really, you know, when you see him in a press conference, this is it. He says something and he doesn't belabor a point and he doesn't stretch it out. And, you know, you've talked to people before, you say, you know, we need more, go for a long period of time. If you did that to him, he'd just stop. So it was kind of, it was really a challenge with him.
With a new head coach, a new twist was added to the show. At Wade Phillips' request, high school athletes got involved serving as the show's studio audience.
Wade had a huge interest in high school athletes, and so we decided that the audience should then be the local high school football teams. And we did the show out of the Bills Fieldhouse. We had a huge area, we had a big set, and it gave the teams, we would let them go in and they would play catch and run plays before the show, and they had some fun. And they asked some great questions as well.
Bringing high school football players, they would be eager, they would be anxious, they would be appreciative, and it was a different touch. It also kind of brought, you know, it helped in the viewership, because if your high school team was going to be down that week, that was kind of a built-in audience too that helped.
Another coach-inspired addition to the show was the player segment. Each week, Wade Phillips would ask a player to join him on the show and offer few players could refuse.
Having the players on the show was a nice touch, and also was much easier to get the players to appear in those years on the coach's show, because it was very tough for them to turn down the coach.
With Wade, we no longer had the media guests. We wanted to change up the format a little bit, so we decided to have a player guest on in the second segment. We would have some of the bigger name athletes on the show, and they were able to comment about the previous game as well as the upcoming game.
The show's most interesting moment came in one of the player segments as All-Pro running back Thurman Thomas made a prediction on live TV.
It's been brutal on the players, but I think with all that's been going on so far within training camp and within the first 3 games, if we beat the San Francisco 49ers and we win about 3 or 4 games in a row, which I think we're going to do, I think we're going to turn it around come Sunday. You know, you're going to hear everybody that was talking about us saying all the good things about us, because I believe in this football team, and we got a good football team. Things just haven't not gone our way the first 3 weeks, and I think this is a great time for us to turn it around this Sunday.
When they went 0-3 and brought Thurman on, they're playing San Francisco 49ers here. When Thurman Thomas just looked at, said, we're going to win. You know, it was nice, I mean, for the fans and for Wade sitting there, he's proud, you know. But Thurman realized that, you know, it's time, and they did. It was kind of neat when you do something like that.
The Wade Phillips show lasted only 1 season as the coach jumped ship to another network for a more lucrative deal. To replace him, Empire went back to its roots. The general manager was brought in as John Butler agreed to do the show, and it moved back into the studio with a call-in format.
He loved the show. I'll tell you, of all of the guys that did it, Butler loved it most. Because John was in that arena where he could talk about the players and the organization, which he truly believed in.
John Butler was not hung up on doing the show out at the stadium. He had no problem coming here and doing the show, and in fact preferred it. And I think he was almost a little bit embarrassed by the whole thing, the undertaking that had to take place out there to set up for the shows. And I think he felt it was better to be a little bit more low-key about it, not to have everybody there see that he was about to do a TV show. He really wasn't hung up on the notoriety side of it.
Never one to avoid responsibility for the team's on-the-field performance, Butler opened the phone lines to the fans and gave them a direct line for an hour a week to the general manager.
John understood when people called and they were upset. And then, of course, there was a time, too, when they weren't, you know, they didn't get to the playoffs in that year. But John loved all the questions from everybody.
While handling the brunt of the angry callers when the team played poorly, he was also quick to give credit to the players who played well. With a true fondness for his younger athletes, Butler often brought on the lesser-known players who had played beyond the team's expectations the week before.
He liked to bring on the role players, too. He liked to bring on the guys, especially the young players and the special teams players, who may have had a good game and wanted to kind of give them a little bit of moment in the sun.
And he particularly liked the segment with the player. And what we did with that segment is have John introduce him, because he was John's guest. I was a moderator for this whole thing. But, and he really enjoyed that. He loved, they all did, but I mean, he loved the players. Because you know how important they were to him.
With the here today, gone tomorrow aspect of the NFL job market, the John Butler Show came to an end, as did all other coach and general manager shows. In each case, the shows were driven by one irreplaceable component, the fan.
The fans in Buffalo are really loyal, and they call from all over, and they are concerned, and they're concerned when the team's losing, and they're very concerned when the team's winning, so that they don't get in a funk. So the fans and the people that call in made the show. We just happen to have the coaches and the general managers there to be able to ask the questions. And it's something for people to think about. If you're going to call into any kind of show, ask an intelligent question, because you're going to get an intelligent answer.